Hello, everyone, and welcome to Authentic Voices. This is a space where we share real stories, real journeys, and also real information that helps people make informed decisions about their lives. And today, we have an episode that has been a request made by a number of our followers on Facebook. Some people have asked for us to delve into this subject of immigrating to Canada. And to help us navigate this conversation, we've invited Dr. Karbet Djedouboum. He's an immigration consultant. He's based in Ottawa in Canada. And he's going to just help us go through the process of immigrating to Canada, looking at the pathways that are available for people to choose from. And he's also going to look at challenges that people face in their immigration journeys. He's going to look at misconceptions, and he's going to clear some of these misconceptions for us that people have when they start their immigration journey. And he's also going to offer some practical next steps. What can you do if you're interested in immigrating to Canada? So I'm excited about this conversation, and I hope it will be beneficial to a lot of people. Thank you. So, Dr. Karbet Djedouboum, welcome to Authentic Voices. Thank you so much for joining us today, and it's really good to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here today as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have today, because I feel issues around immigration, immigration information, sometimes it tends to feel daunting, it's intimidating, and it's also just complicated. So I'm hoping by the end of the conversation, we will have managed to break it down a little more so people understand how the options that are available for immigration to Canada, and also just breaking it down to a level that's accessible to our listeners.
Great.
So just to start at the beginning, when people first come to you wanting to move to Canada or asking about moving to Canada, what are they usually hoping to achieve from their move, or what are they hoping their life will look like once they're in Canada?
Great. That is a great question. When people come and they meet with us, generally they expect to come to a safer place. They want to come to a stable country. They want to come to a country that will open more opportunities for them. And they think the quality of life here is much better than where they are. And they generally also people want to embrace the multiculturalism environment when they decide to come to us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree when you say that people are hoping, they have expectations. And I feel the point you mentioned on that is important, because when people are coming to Canada, they are actually not just seeing a country, right? They're seeing possibilities and options for them. So I think that's an interesting point that you also raised around that, just being aware of the human side of the whole process of immigration and how people end up making these decisions. And also, when you're looking at trends globally, Canada seems to be one of the top destinations for immigrants. Uh, from your experience, what do you think makes it such an attractive destination for immigrants, for newcomers?
Okay. There is one thing that put Canada apart from many developed countries as a destination for immigration. It is that the immigration system in Canada is really fair. It is a competitive system, and it is well designed compared to many other countries, and several other developed countries are copying the Canadian system. There is more traceability, and since the beginning, you know whether you will be accepted in the system or not. So it is quite the reason that attract Canada that people are more attracted by Canada compared to several other countries. This country also has a good political or social stability. You know, it is a stable country, so people want to come and restart their new life here compared to many other places where the immigration system is not stable as Canada, because Canadian immigration system is more than a century well-established system.
Wow, that's true. And I think the issues around safety, healthcare, education, right? Those are also some of the things that immigrants are looking at. And I think you raised important points on those. And when you're looking on the flip side, though, what are some of the misconceptions that you find people have when they first approach you about moving to Canada? And you probably have to correct some of those misconceptions.
Yeah, that is really a great question, because people have a lot of misconceptions of this country. When they decide to come to Canada, they think about the automatic upgrade of their lifestyle, or sometimes people think that when you come to Canada, you will move quickly to the middle class or something like that. But Canada is still a country attracting people for its economy. So when you enter Canada, you have to work hard before you reach the middle class level. Otherwise, you will stay at the lower class level. And there are some other misconceptions that people have when they hear in the news or on TikToks elsewhere that in Canada, even doctors, physicians are Uber drivers or something like that. Sometimes they think that no, Canada is not a great country, but this country offers opportunity to anybody. And there are some professions where to get into their licensing system is quite hard, but in this country, when you work hard, even you can transition from your career to another career easily and get your way in this country. So this is part of the misconceptions people have. And when people think about immigration, sometimes they think that immigration is paperwork. But paperwork, that is true. There are a lot of paperwork on doing the immigration project, but that is about 10% of the process. Immigration is a life-changing event. It is a big life-changing event, so people should rather focus on how they will transition their life instead of how they will complete this paper required by the government or something like that. So immigration should be seen as a life-changing plan, and people need to sit down and plan it carefully, all the steps, and get really prepared instead of working through paperwork, whether I qualify or not. So that is one of the misconceptions also that people have.
Thank you for those thoughts, for your insights on the misconceptions. And I agree. I've also met some people who do have the same misconceptions, and you sort of have to redirect people around that thinking. But when we are moving to the practical side, right, which is the most daunting portion of the immigration process, there are so many pathways to immigrate to Canada, and people are wondering, which pathway should I choose? Which option do I have if I want to immigrate to Canada? And can you just give us maybe a high level breakdown of the options that are available in Canada that people can choose to immigrate that they can choose to use if they want to immigrate to Canada?
Yeah, that is a great question. The Canadian immigration system has more than 70 different programs. And people, when you go to the government website, you can easily get lost. And some people, they go there to try to look for information, and then they get lost. Some people, they direct themselves through YouTube, TikToks, and all this. But selecting the right program from the beginning is key. There are different pathways to immigrate to Canada. The one group is to immigrate as permanent immigration, permanent residency, and the other group is temporary residency. For permanent residency, the biggest program Canada has is Express Entry. Express Entry is not a program, but Express Entry is just a, a, a group of program, the way the program is managed. So those three programs that are within Express Entry program are the biggest program. The first one is the Federal Skilled Worker Program. The Federal Skilled Worker Program is the one that bring more permanent residents to Canada, and that is the biggest economic immigration program Canada has. The second one within the Express Entry group is the Federal Skilled Trade. The Federal Skilled Trade is a program that helps the federal government to attract some trade group like welders, cook, or builders, truck drivers, etc. So this is also one group of the program within Express Entry. The third one within Express Entry is the Canadian Experience Class program. This program is for people who are already in Canada, study, they have work experience in Canada, who can transition from their temporary status to become also permanent residents. So Express Entry is a portal that regroup the three biggest one. Apart from Express Entry, the permanent residency program is also the provincial nominee program. The provincial nominee program, called generally PNP, is the way for the federal government to distribute some power to the provinces and allowing them to select some of their economic immigrants. So the provincial nomination is one of them, and Quebec has the biggest one. Quebec system is quite separate compared to the other provinces. And element under the permanent residency is family sponsorship. So under family sponsorship, people can bring their relatives, or they can go and adopt someone from another country to bring them to Canada. The last one within the permanent residency is humanitarian programs. The humanitarian program is the program that help Canada to help for the settlement of refugees or people in need of protections. Some are refugees that are already established in foreign countries, and every year the federal government has an allocation of number of those refugees who will be settled here in Canada. The other group are people who move to Canada for their security, and they will apply for a refugee program within the country. So these are in general the group of permanent residents. We have also the other group of temporary residents that are composed of international students and temporary workers. Those two groups are the main group of temporary residents, and generally when they are temporary residents, most of them will try to move toward the permanent residency. So those are the main group of Canadian immigration system, and the main objective of this immigration system is to boost the economy, is to reinforce the population growth, and also reinforce also the multiculturalism in this country, so the diversity.
Wow. I didn't realize there are actually so many options that are available for immigration. I'm glad that you shared all these options that are available. And what I also picked is there are different streams, right? Meaning there are also different profiles and profiles that people should possess, and also life stages or circumstances as well. So when you're looking at all these profiles and all these pathways, I mean, what types of candidates will usually succeed within each one of those profiles?
Yeah, that is a great question. When clients come to us, sometimes they come to us with their pathway they selected or their idea. But what we do, we conduct the profile assessment. And there are several factors to take into consideration on the profile assessment. The profession of the individual, the age, their work experience, whether they are married or they are single, whether they have a large family or a small family, what are their financial capacity, and what is their language level, whether they are bilingual, unilingual, and what is their language score, and all those elements are key to help us assess and propose some pathway to our clients. And sometimes the clients will come to us with one particular pathway, but after the assessment, we end up proposing them the pathway that they really like and they never think about it. So those are how we develop our strategy. And at the end of the day, we want the pathway that will put less pressure on the individual, will benefit for the entire family. A client can come to us for a need to send a child to study in Canada. But through that assessment, through the meeting, we can end up proposing to the client that it will be great, considering their profile themselves as parents, to come together with their kids, the entire family, and to have the entire family benefiting from the immigration process. When they consider the budget they want to put on education, that budget can be put toward another program that will be beneficial for the entire family. And considering their skill, the country will benefit also from their skill if they move as entire family. So there are many strategies that we propose to our clients here, depend on their background.
Yeah, interesting. On somebody coming in looking for or wishing to follow one pathway, and then they end up deciding to move as a family. And I agree. It's also like you said, it's beneficial to Canada as well to gain that skilled labor. And are there options that you find people tend to overlook in these pathways? Are they options that people tend to overlook, but you think or you feel based on your experience that they need to consider these? Like I know you just gave the example with the foreign skilled workers that you just mentioned, but are there other options that you find sometimes people overlook and yet they actually have available options that they could actually be looking into?
Yes, one area that people really overlook is when they plan to move to Canada, they should, since the beginning, uh, try to see the country's profile and what is the interest of the country, the current interest of the country, and then put their effort toward preparing their project. Uh, you, Canada is a bilingual country, and currently the government strategy is to reinforce French outside of Quebec. So the federal government is the one that is handling that mandate. They are putting more weight onto French, whether through permanent residency or temporary residency. And when people who plan ahead, they may not be at a good level of French, but it is good for them to take some French classes and have some level of French, because French language can boost their score in getting quickly to Canada. So this is one area where people overlook, but language is the number one factor to immigrate permanent, because to enter those different economic pathways, language has a lot of score compared to age, compared to the skill and all this. So people should put more effort in preparing in their language. The other area also where people overlook, people don't have, some people, they don't have a good financial planning for their immigration program. They put more effort on other area, but when they come, they said they are ready, but they are not yet ready because their settlement fund is not yet there. So this is some area where people overlook also. On the financial part, sometimes people will take money, will borrow money from other relatives to make sure they show the settlement funds, and they think that the amount of money in their bank account is one factor, but no. It is the way you earn that money that is important. It is not the amount of the money that you have in your bank account, which play a role also. So those are areas people overlook when they plan for Canada immigration. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And Dr. Djedouboum, when you're looking at immigration and when you follow conversations around immigration, generally, even the world over, there are issues that usually come up around mistakes and how mistakes can be costly and how they can also cause you to result in you wasting time. So when you're looking at that based on your experience, what are some of the common mistakes that you find people tend to make when they are putting in their applications or planning around immigrating to Canada?
Yeah. Quite half of my clients went through ghost consultants. They were scammed by several individuals. They spent thousands of dollars on fake program, fake plans, and some of them are DIYs, do it yourself. They initiate and then they face obstacles and they come to us. So the majority of issue people are having is around ghost consultants, around going to YouTube, TikTok, taking the information as advice, and then this is what I heard, and then I did it. And this lead to many errors. People are putting some applications that are creating them more trouble instead of going through the appropriate way. So they waste time, they waste money, they waste some time, they end up getting misrepresented. When you are considered misrepresented in the immigration system, you will be banned for at least 5 years to apply to the program. So that is really a big issue. People, instead of going through those different routes, it is better since the beginning to seek technical advice from an expert who can help to orient to the appropriate direction. So only the initial consultation will help people to go to the right direction, even if they don't pay for the additional services. The consultant or the lawyer can direct them to the appropriate pathway to avoid them wasting money or wasting time. So people, sometimes they put some applications that are not appropriate and that create a lot of trouble to them. And when they come to us and they acknowledge that they have some applications that are underway and they don't know where it is, we cannot handle their case without requesting their archive from the government. We have to know what information people have sent in the past on their behalf. And sometimes we ask them to get all their previous submissions, the copy of the documents. Some people, they don't have. Some people, they don't know how to access their profile. Some people, even their credential assessment, the password is not under their control, and all this. So it is a lot of issue people are spending a lot of money on immigrations or on do it themselves instead of just seeking appropriate advice and do it the right way once. Yeah.
Yeah. So trying to save money ends up being costly in some sense, right? Or not going that extra mile to get better information, more reliable information. And the other point I think that I take from all this is also just issues around preparation. So because the more informed you are, the better you are, the better prepared you become. And from your perspective and looking at the work that you've done so far in this space, how important is preparation, and especially when we are looking at things like language testing, credential evaluations, and other things like financial planning as well.
Yeah, preparation is key, and particularly financial planning is important. You have to plan based on the size of your family, whether your family will be moving with you or not. You have to plan for the entire family. You have also to plan on the language, doing an initial self-assessment to understand whether I know the two language that are spoken in Canada, and assess yourself, take some language testing, and then take some courses to improve your skill in one or in both of them is a great way to prepare for Canada immigration system. The other area is the document archaeology. Immigration requires a lot of paperwork, so people need to make sure they gather their documentation and have them organized before starting the immigration process. All credentials, birth certificate, marriage certificate, the transcript, contact with universities, and all this work experience, make sure they are connected with their previous employers, because they will need a recommendation letter from them. And all this information need to get prepared and organized. It is not at the time that you are selected by the government to submit your application that you will run after like an employer to receive his reference letter. Sometimes it is not easy for some candidate to receive quickly the reference letter from the employer they work for more than 10 years and all this. So those are key elements to get prepared. And the mental preparation also is key, because immigration is a life-changing event. You will be moving from one place to another place. So you have to assess yourself whether you are open to other culture, whether you are open to go outside of your ethnical group. And all those elements are key to understand what are the weaknesses you need to work on prior to moving to Canada, because Canada is a multiculturalist country, and you need to embrace the culture of that country, and even only whether be prepared that Canada is a cold country. If you move to Canada, you have not to complain too much about the weather, because you already know that it is a cold country. and all this. So the mental preparation is also key.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of emotional adjustment that comes
Yeah.
into play with immigration. But you've also created a guide that looks at helping people avoid these mistakes that you were talking about. So what gap were you hoping to fill with this when you were developing this guide, when you were working on it? What made you feel, okay, this is something that I need to work on and provide people before, so that they have this information? What gap were you looking to fill?
Yeah, this is a great point. We, as a new immigrants, we went through uh, struggles. We learned several lessons, and for me, even embracing the immigration law field is make sure people who will come after me don't face the same battles that I went through. Yeah. And I have a project of developing a comprehensive document that will be quite experience sharing based on what I personally encounter or what some other immigrants have encountered. So I'm working now. I'm at quite the third year on that project. It is a big project, but while working on that project, when I meet with my clients, many clients, they face some barrier accessing language preparation material, particularly the French testing materials. And for clients who are in Africa, they have hard time to get to the appropriate resource. So it is a big issue reported by several of my clients. So, and that was one of the chapter that is already part of my big project. I'm still working on it. Mm-hmm. And at some point I said, why not extracting the part that is helping, that could help with language testing and share it with people. That's why I went and I extract the language segment of the project to develop a guide for TEF Canada. TEF Canada is Test d'évaluation du français au Canada, and TEF Canada is one of the language testing for French. There are also TCF and the English language testing. So TEF Canada guide that I extracted, it is a comprehensive document that has a lot of references. I references a lot of resources available online or on hard copy people can buy on Amazon. Some of them I bought myself while working on that project. I bought a lot of books from Amazon. And so I put some effort on developing a new guide that will not only bring these references, but is based on my experience by going through several of the language testing and helping also other individuals in preparing those language testing. So I put in writing and I share for free to help people, not only my clients, but I share it broadly on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I send the PDF copy to many people who request it. Last week, someone from India contacted me to see whether I can develop the same document, but in French, in English, the English version of the same document. So I said, well, I can't think about it, but it will be another project. So it will be more on translating. That was the request I received from India. So in 2 weeks, that guide has reached, I think, thousands of people.
Wow.
Yeah, thousands of people. I receive every day a lot of message, thank you message on WhatsApp or on because I share my contacts on that document. So I receive a lot of information from several people. Yeah, who some of them they receive through me, or some they receive through some other people, and they want to thank me by providing that free document that will help them.
Wow. Wow. And I think it does help with providing a little more clarity for people, right, who are thinking about this. But does it also address the issues around misconceptions and misunderstandings?
Some part of the general information provide why the objective of the Canadian immigration system, why the government is focusing in this area compared to this. So I provide at least some high-level information about the Canadian immigration system before focusing on the language. But my biggest project is I put it on all, but I will resume it shortly. It is quite 80% completed. Probably next year I will put more effort, but that document will be a big tool that can help not only new immigrants, but even people who are already settled in Canada on how to make their settlement be successful, and how to get into the job market, how to buy their home, how to deal with the financial system. I put some effort on the how to invest even in the North American system, because I have some background in financial advisory and the insurance. I am certified advisor in that field. So I have some knowledge that I translate also in that document to help people, because there are many information that are not shared in schools. You will get it very rarely in some books, but those are key information that are helping generations in North America to stay healthier. But those information are not shared with the middle class, and those informations are available, will be available also in the
but
complete guide that I will share.
Okay, interesting. But in its current format, what would you recommend? Like, how would you recommend people to use the guide? Like, is it a starting point? I want to immigrate, then they refer to that book, or is it something that they use to determine if they need professional help, or how would you just basically recommend people use this guide?
Yes, the use of this guide is for any individual who wants to move to Canada. Taking the French language test is something that it is a key driver, because there are more score given to French. But even for someone speaking English, that guide, I know there are several people who are learning French to boost their score even within Canada or abroad currently, and that guide can help them quickly master the language testing, the French language testing. So they can easily, there are many strategies that are developed with examples and how to plan for their language. So if at the time I was taking my French testing in 2016, if I have that kind of document, I will really score high. Yeah, I will really score high. So taking the time to go through that document is key. And that document has many other information apart from the language testing to help people prepare also for their immigration plan to Canada. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Djedouboum, and I hope we'll be able to share that link to the document as well. Now, if we move, we fast forward, people have now moved to Canada, they're here. What tends to surprise newcomers on arrival, either positively or negatively? What do you tend to find people sharing?
That is a great question. When you move to Canada, on the positive side, people are kind in this country compared to many. I went to many countries, but in Canada, people are really kind. One other thing that I notice, people are more linked to their families. They have put more importance in their family, even generally in the workplace. When there is anything related to the family, it has more attention. So when it comes to have a plan that will provide work-life balance, employers tend to listen. So that is something really positive to Canada. On the flip side, there are still some area that the country need to work on it. The Canadian experience, when you move here as new immigrants, you bring a lot of experience, but sometimes it is hard to get into the job market, because people tend to consider more the Canadian experience, and that is a mistake, because we lose talent because of the Canadian experience. And sometimes also the surprise when you visit many other countries, cities are noisy and all this, but here in Canada, apart the downtown areas in major cities, the neighborhood are quite quiet, and this is also the particularity of Canada. So it is not something bad, but it is also good for families. One thing that could be a surprise is also the cost of living in this country. Yeah, the cost of living is high. The daily life costs a lot of money. Logistic costs also a lot of money, transportations and all this. But still, if you work hard, you can overcome in these areas. So those are the flip side of this country. People need to consider.
That's true. And what would you suggest as ways that newcomers can actually make use of, just to help them settle faster and feel at home?
Yeah, there are ways people can really go through to make sure they integrate quickly while moving to Canada. The initial point before moving to Canada, it is important to start to connect with the Canadian job market. And connecting with the Canadian job market while abroad is important. So try to see how you can, in many countries, people used to apply through CVs, the long CVs. Here, we go by resume, short, to the point, and all this. So people need to prepare, adjust their resume in the Canadian format, start to connect like through social medias, LinkedIn, with Canadian employers. That is one thing. People need also to manage their expectation. When you move to Canada, you are not moving from the same workplace to another one. You are moving from one country to another one life to another one. So people need to keep down their personal egos. You may be a manager, a director in your country, but when you move here, you want to really be more open to anything that can open the door to you. It may be in your field, it may be outside of your field, but sometimes people need to reduce on their egos. That may need some people to go back to school, to take some additional trainings and all this. There are some professions, when you come, they will assess what you have learned, and they will ask you to go back to school and take some additional trainings. So people need to be open also to that. That help also for easy settlement of newcomers. And when you move to this country, which is a cosmopolitan country, people need to get not to be linked to their community or to their ethnic group. They need to open themselves to anybody, because you never know, through the connections, you can really make your settlement easy. There are also many settlement services that the government funds, and they are providing service for newcomers for free. And people need really to use those settlement services, because they are paid to help the newcomers. So anything you can take from them, go for it. The other thing is winter. Canada is a cold country, so to really be quickly settled, you have to get prepared mentally. And then when you move here, make sure your kids start to embrace the winter sport or something like that, to help them and not see winter as a hardship. Because when you start to see winter as a hardship, you will hate it and you will not adjust quickly to this country. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And on the weather, especially the winters are brutal. And like you said, you need to adjust
Yeah,
mentally as well, right? So that you don't
yeah,
hate them. Otherwise, you're going to be 6 months, like for us here in Ottawa, that's like
Ye-
6 months and you're in pain. You
yeah.
just
You are in winter. You will not.
you're suffering.
You will not be in outside environment.
Mhm.
People, when you go out quickly, you want to go to get home, and
Mhm.
you stay within your perimeters. And uh, winter also lead to some depression because some people, the loneliness,
Mhm.
they stay alone, and if you don't have other connections and you stay alone, you are quite depressed with the winter. So this is where you have to get prepared mentally, and for some people who have families, it is quite easy. It is just the adjustment for the temperature when you are outside, but when you are with the family, you can enjoy the time together and you forget about winters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So for someone who's listening to you this on this episode and they're just starting to think about immigrating to Canada, what's the very first practical step that you would advise them or recommend that they take?
The first practical step is to do their own self assessment to check whether it is appropriate for them to move to Canada or not, considering the benefit and the risk of this country. This country is a safe country. This country is uh, an open country, and it is a nice place to live. Good education system, good healthcare system. We have one of the we have good universities, and it is really a country with who offer a lot to its population, and that is something ongoing for centuries. Uh, but when you want to come to take this, you have also to get prepared. So people need to do some self-assessment since the beginning before they move. And when they come, they have to have their eye really open and be mentally prepared to face all the challenges. And moving to a country is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It is a
Mm.
marathon. That means there will be struggles, there will be time of resilience, and people need to be resilient. You may come, you will not get quickly a job, you may face some credential evaluation challenges and all this. We all went through those processes, but we end up somewhere to overcome them. So people need to get prepared and to be resilient, to be prepared to face those different challenges. There are some other challenges of paperwork to go through. So when you want to move to Canada, get prepared with all your paperwork, because when you are already here, it is hard to reach out back to your country to request some additional documents that you should better and easily gather them yourself before moving to Canada. So the next step is uh, be prepared and then meet any expert to help on orienting them to the appropriate program. There are a lot of programs, and every year this country is welcoming 500,000 people who settle in this country every year. So the doors are still open, more organized than a couple of years before, but Canada remains open to international population.
Interesting. And if someone is looking for personalized, tailored guidance, because I mean, thank you for the information you shared, but if someone wants a little more personalized guidance or wants to explore other options further, where can they find you? How can they connect with you directly?
It is important to have the profile being assessed, and what is valid for an individual is not always applicable to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So profiles are different, even for people who are twins. Their profile may be assessed differently based on their background. So when people want to move to Canada, we conduct profile assessment consultations. This is the entry point to make sure appropriate immigration program is recommended since the beginning. And we propose programs based on priority. The priority is this, and what you will do to meet it is this. The second priority is this, the third one. So we propose 2 or 3 priority program with all the pros and cons to help people to make their own decisions. So we have our company, Astra Immigration, which is available. Our team conduct a regular profile assessment, and those who want us to help them, to represent them, we represent clients also to the IRCC to follow their files and make sure we put great applications to make their application being successful. So they can contact us through our website, www.asraimmigration, ASRAIMMIGration.ca. Asra Immigration, we can put the link on the screen to help people. People can connect directly to us through info at @asraimmigration.ca. We have also, we could be reached through our phone number 613-227-8127. Canada indicative is +1. We have also our WhatsApp, which is also available. People can go and chat and ask questions. Shortly, our website will be complete to provide more information and to allow people to go and fill out forms and go ahead to book appointments for our consultations and all this. So yeah, people can reach out to us if they want us to really help them succeed in their application to immigrate to Canada.
Thank you so much, Dr. Djedouboum. And I just want to thank you because you shared the information on immigration so clearly and openly. And I think anyone who's listened to this conversation, who's heard you sharing this information, has definitely a better understanding of the processes, the pathways that are available, the options that they have, and also what is required for them to get started with the process. And I'll just reiterate your points on the importance of planning. Like you said, don't rush, gather your documents, and also do an honest self-assessment, right? And evaluation to see which is the best pathway for you. So thank you for that. And I think you've also helped to just demystify issues around immigration, because there's a lot of confusion that comes up through misinformation, sometimes disinformation even. And I think you've helped in that regard. And thank you very much. And we also look forward to the opportunity to share your guide once it's fully completed as well. But just thank you for joining us on Authentic Voices.
It's really a pleasure for us also to join Authentic Voice. And we wish this group, which is on the field, has a great tools to use to communicate and share great news to all our auditors. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Djedouboum. Dr. Djedouboum, thank you so much for joining us on Authentic Voices. And I want to thank you for sharing your knowledge so clearly and openly. And I think this conversation has been helpful in demystifying issues around immigration, especially immigration to Canada. And for a lot of people who might have been considering moving to Canada, but they were feeling overwhelmed or unsure about where to start, thank you so much for sharing this information. And to everyone that's listening, remember, like Dr. Djedouboum mentioned, immigration is a journey. So it's not a sprint or a race, but it's actually a marathon. So look at it from that perspective and also get the right information early as it makes a difference. And also ensure to get professional help so that you don't waste your time or your money. And this episode is also available on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as Spotify. And make sure to follow and subscribe so that you're also always part of the conversations that we have here on Authentic Voices. And also feel free, if you think this conversation might be helpful to someone else, feel free to share it. In case there are other people who are also thinking about moving to Canada, but they don't have the information or they're still trying to figure out how to navigate the process. I'm Noma, and this is Authentic Voices. Until next time, take care.